Hi guys, thank you so much for your commitment to serve with us this week. We started a new curriculum in May that we are super excited about. I just want to talk through what your room is going to look like when you come in. The countertops will look pretty similar to what you're used to with your arrival notebook, teaching pictures, your caddy, your sign-in sheet, and you'll also have a teaching plan. There will not be any bins for you to use for either hour. Instead, you're going to have a big bin down here with all your activities labeled in order in Ziploc bags. You'll be able to use your teaching plan to follow what's in the bin.
Something that has changed for everybody is our schedules. There's going to be a schedule outside of your classroom and one posted inside. Please keep an eye on them because your Bible times have changed for going to big rooms, your playground has changed, and your snack time has changed.
Activity 1 is called Wake Up. You're going to have the kids surround you on the floor and you're going to tell them to pretend to be asleep, and they're going to all pretend to be asleep, and then you're going to wake them up and they're going to wake up and stretch and be awake. They're going to do this activity today because we're going to talk about dreams.
Activity 2 is going to be a review of last week's lesson. You're going to use the teaching pictures to go over it, and it's up to where Joseph ends up in jail.
For activity 3, we're going to review this week's lesson. And this week we're going to talk about Pharaoh's dream and how Joseph had a plan of what to do and God instructed him to do so.
Activity 4 is called Work of Art. You're going to get a frame, a piece of paper for each child that looks like this. You're also going to have dot markers in your classroom and crayons so the kids can color it, and then you can go around and help them dot paint around the frame to make a work of art. You're going to remind them that they are too a work of art and that God has a plan for them.
For activity 5, we're going to play grain shakers, and you will get a CD inside of your bag. And once this activity is over, it's super important that you put it back so whenever we need music again, you have this. And this is the music that they're going to be listening to during Tiny Praise, so that way they can learn it. Okay, so the activity is to grab the shaker, and you're going to basically dance around the room with your kiddos. They can take turns using the shaker, and we're going to talk about how God has a plan for us.
Activity 6 is called Scatter and Gather. You're going to have one of these in your bin, and it's going to have a bag of yellow pom-poms. You're going to take these pom-poms and scatter them all over the floor, and you're going to hold onto the bucket and instruct the kids to go pick up all the grain and put them all back in the bucket. We're going to be talking about this because we learned in our Bible story today how Joseph saved the grain. Activity 7 is called Fill the Bag. It is also the first activity that you're going to do at the beginning of the 11 o'clock hour. Each child is going to get a picture like this of a bag of grain, and you're also going to get yellow crepe paper or tissue paper in your bag, little squares, and some glue sticks. You're going to have the kids, they can color the bag if they'd like as well, but you're also just going to put the yellow pieces of paper here to represent the grain.
For activity 8, we're going to do a review of last week. You can use the card that's in the bag, and remember it was all the way up to where Joseph went to jail. For activity 9, we're going to teach this week's lesson, and we're going to talk about how Pharaoh had a dream, and then Joseph explained the dream to him, and then he had a plan on how to help his people. Use your teaching pictures, and remember, God has a plan for you.
Activity 10 is called Scatter and Gather. It's also the closing activity for the end of the 11 o'clock hour. In your bin, you should have a caddy that looks like this filled with yellow pom-poms. You're going to find this in your bin and follow the instructions for activity number 6.
We're super thankful for everything you do for our ministry. You have no idea the impact that you have on our littles. Have a blessed Sunday. For activity 9, we're going to be teaching our kids so that you're in the